Hi, I'm Cynthia Lee, President of the Napier-Looby Bar Association. We're excited to launch our Spotlight Series where we're celebrating members who have helped pave the way and contributed meaningfully to Napier-Looby and those who continue to carry the torch and make sure that our community continues to be served. Black history lives through people, through their service, through their commitment, and through their mission of lifting others as they climb. This series is simply a way of saying thank you and making sure that everyone knows that their service does not go unnoticed. Today, we're excited to highlight Kimberly Easterling, who serves as a board member at large, as well as the community outreach chair, and she does an amazing job. If you've ever attended any one of our community outreach events, then it speaks for itself. So without further ado, Kim, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your time with us, and thank you for all that you do for Napier-Looby. You have really taken community outreach and made it a thing of your own, and I feel confident in speaking for everybody on the board and Napier-Looby as a whole that the work that you do is great and we really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right, so I'm Kim Easterling. I'm originally from Georgia. I've been in Nashville for about 4 years, and I'm a senior attorney with the Department of Justice.
That's very important work. So tell us, what's the work or the purpose that really drives you? And when I say that, I mean, when you think about your personal mission, what motivates you to show up in your career and in your advocacy?
Well, I think the big thing for me is being able to educate and empower people, to help someone the way people have helped me. I also think that it's very important for Black attorneys to be in spaces where we have a voice and we can have a seat at the table. Because if we don't have a seat at the table, then no one's going to hear our perspective, especially given the type of work that I do. I mean, you don't see a lot of Black attorneys doing explosives work, talking about arson and things like that. And so I just want to be in a position where I can help Black people coming after me be able to realize that there are things outside of what they may necessarily see on a daily basis. But it really is to educate and help people coming after me so that they will have options and they will be able to help the community as well.
And I think that's a very valid point, because when you go to law school, or even before you get to law school, a lot of the times you only know of one type or two types of attorney, either a criminal attorney or a corporate attorney. You probably haven't heard too much about other types of attorneys unless you have attorneys in your family or your family friends are attorneys, things like that. So I think that's important to educate people. So that's part of our mission in Napier-Looby, is to educate. You know, we have the student outreach committee that reaches back so that those law students are exposed to different areas of law. But tell us, how did you get involved with Napier-Looby and what keeps you engaged with Napier-Looby?
So prior to coming here, I was in Macon, Georgia, and I knew I was coming to Nashville, and I knew it was very important to become involved in a Black bar. It's critical for me. I think it's critical for Black attorneys because there was a time when we couldn't join majority white bars. And so one of the first things I looked at, besides a hairdresser, when I came here, was I needed to find a Black bar, and I wanted to meet Black people. And so one of my colleagues recommended joining Napier-Looby. And so once I got here, I joined and haven't looked back. It's been 4 years.
Well, we're happy to have you, and we actually joined at the same time.
Right.
So It's been great serving alongside you. So a little bit of, it's Black History Month. Black history means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But tell us, how has Black history shaped your why or influenced the way that you move through the legal profession or your individual advocacy?
I think that it's important for Black attorneys to be present in the legal profession because we bring a nuanced voice. So I know you read a lot, when we talk about W.E.B. Du Bois, and he talked about this notion of double consciousness. What does that look like to have a duality, right? And so it's pivotal for me to be in a room because I give a perspective that perhaps majority other audiences would not have ever thought of. And when you're in spaces talking about policy and law and who that's going to affect, somebody's got to be able to say, hey, that's what that looks like. And so as a part of Black history, as a Black person, it's important for me to raise my voice and say, hey, this is something that's going to impact people who look like me. And so I need to be one of the people in the room advocating for people who look like me.
And it's necessary to have those people who are in those rooms because we have a unique background and circumstances that sometimes it's helpful to have somebody in there who understand it in ways that other people may not. But speaking of that, was there ever a moment or a lesson or a person that really stuck with you along the way that contributed to or helped shape you to who you are today?
It's not just one person, it's just the way I was raised. So I was raised by my mom, she raised my sister, my brother, and myself. And I had family and friends who have prayed for me, who have helped me. I saw other people sacrifice so that I could be here today. And just other people who just really spoke into my life. And so those people contributed to helping me get to where I am today. And that's what I want to do for the younger generation.
And speaking of talking about people who pray for you and help you and encourage you along the way, we hear about all these great Black men and women throughout history or even today who are doing the work. Is there any one particular Black person who you would want to sit down with and have dinner with and talk to? It could be somebody in the past or it could be in the present.
So I got to go renegade on this. Yeah, I would want to talk to Malcolm X. So obviously, he was not Christian, so we don't agree on that part. But Malcolm talked a lot about Black independence, and he focused a lot on Black dignity. That when we know who we are, then what we do and how we advocate and show up for each other will flow naturally. And so even though he was a controversial figure, I do appreciate his emphasis on Black dignity and what it meant to highlight the struggles of Black America and to really put it in people's face and not let them kind of look away from having hard conversations and the injustices that Black people faced back then. And so he is the person I would interview.
I think that's an amazing answer. I would want to be a part of the interview because I love his work. I love what he stood for. And I do think he was controversial, but a lot of the stuff that he said was true and still remains true today.
Right. Absolutely.
So, but getting away from all the work, the professional work and the seriousness, what's something about Kim that people may not know if we don't have your resume, or if we do have your resume, what's something that's not on your resume that people just may not know about you? You have any interests or any hobbies?
I love to travel. I like working out. I'm a gym instructor, and I just like being able to relax and unplug when I don't have to do work.
Well,
yeah,
I'm with you with that one. Okay. So looking ahead as we wrap up, what does continuing the legacy of Black excellence mean to you?
That's a good question, Cynthia, Madam President. It means continuing to educate, equip, and empower Black people who come after us, who will look at people like you and I and say, wow, if they could do it, so can I. So it's like a relay race where, you pass the baton off. And so, our ancestors were brought here, forced to come, and then they passed it off to people like John Lewis and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And now we have the baton. And so our job is to run our race and give it to the new generation so that they can get educated and advocate for people and show up and be the voice in spaces, all spaces, not just the law, science, public policy, math, stuff, other anything. Like, it's my job to help them to get to a point where they can be a productive and positive citizen and advocate for Black people.
I love that. I think that's very important because we're only here for a moment, and when our moment's up, we have to get out the way. And part of our purpose is to make sure that those who come behind us are equipped and ready to carry on the purpose. So I just look forward to all that you continue to do, and Napier-Looby, and so thank you for your time.
Thank you.